Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Forsyth County, Georgia. Welcome to the Retirement Planning and Wealth Management Podcast, brought to you by Webb Wealth Advisors. Visit webbwealthadvisors.com for their full scope of services. Now here's your host, Paul Webb.
Hi, I'm Paul Webb with Webb Wealth Advisors. Welcome to the show this afternoon. We're really happy to have you. We got lots of interesting things to talk about this afternoon and a great guest named Dan Smith. And he works for Insperity, and he's going to share lots of great things with us this afternoon, and we'll mix some retirement planning in there and make it fun for you all. So anyhow, Dan, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. I'm honored to be a guest here. This will be fun.
Yes.
And I so you and I listened to some of your podcasts. Enjoyed listening to some of the conversations you've had. But what's interesting is you and I share a hip replacement.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had, believe it or not.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So far, so good.
Yeah, right. So at 40, I was 40, I'm 51 right now. So 47, I had it replaced. And
wow.
It was, it's genetic. It was, it wasn't due to running or anything like that.
Okay.
It was just a genetic, the ball is oval or was oval. So it had worn down all the cartilage.
Wow.
So they had to go in and replace it. So
is that the left or right?
Which is the right hip,
Gotcha.
And they claim I probably will have to have the left one done too for similar reasons, but anyway, so yeah, I was like, oh, okay, we got a few things in common here.
Absolutely,
boating, you like boating, I like boating. So
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So
well, good.
It was good.
Well, glad to hear it. Well, tell me about you and your business. Looks like you've been very successful there.
But yeah, I've been with Insperity about 17, 18 months now.
Nice.
Doing HR benefits and really helping small businesses is what we do with all of their employee benefits and HR solutions. So it's the whole umbrella. I mean, it goes from, workers' comp, to employee benefits, to actual HR solutions, even into 401k, we can help in that area too. So
cool.
Our bread and butter are small businesses, and we're really helping them navigate that arena, so to speak, and we can either support them on the HR side, or we can be their actual HR department. So
nice.
if they don't want to hire an HR person, then we've got a full service staff that can handle that for them, and rely on us to really help them through those things. So
gotcha. That workers' compensation piece, is that like insurance that you offer for that? Or?
Exactly. Yes. So we'll and that's under, along with the employee benefits. We bring them. If for those that aren't familiar, we're a PEO. I don't know if have you dealt with the PEO, professional employer organization. So that we basically put small businesses under our umbrella of 300,000 plus lives that are under umbrella. So that includes workers' comp also. So so it really gives them, it leverages and gives small businesses exposure to benefits of a larger organization.
Sure, absolutely.
As opposed to, if you're a 5-10 employee company or 15, like you're going to market, and benefits can get really expensive. So we bring them under our umbrella, and they get to take advantage of those plans and those options at a pretty at a lesser cost than it would be if they went to market with 5, 10, 15 employees.
Gotcha.
So
good.
So yeah, so that's and we'll go all over the map. I mean, we have clients that are 1,500 employees.
Wow.
So we do the whole the whole thing there. But believe it or not, our average client size is 24 employees, and we're national. We're in every state.
Wow.
Started Insperity itself started in '86, so been around quite a while.
Gotcha.
Cool. So that's kind of how we do things.
Excellent.
So, but yeah, I've enjoyed it. before this, I was doing software sales. So, and then like going back, I actually moved to Atlanta doing commercial real estate. So I did that up until 2008 when everything blew up in 2008, and jumped over to software sales, from there. So that was, real estate on the commercial side was what I, moved down here for originally. Moved down from Maryland to do commercial real estate, and did that, and then jumped over to software sales, and now I'm at Insperity. So,
wow, you have a very
diverse
background. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, so it's all in sales, but yes, but diversity is definitely a good way to put that.
Good. Well, good for you. And I saw you went to Guilford College.
Yes.
In accounting, huh?
I did, yeah, believe it or not.
Wow.
But learned very quickly that's just wasn't going to be my forte. I was more of a kind of outgoing, talking to people, not in an office behind a desk, so to speak. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's amazing that your career has been dealing more with people and less with figures, and you majored in accounting. So
yeah, I know.
It's a great transition. Most people would call you just a jack of many trades.
That's right. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So because you went to VMI.
Yes, sir. I went to VMI and was blessed to graduate from there. Got commissioned in the Air Force, and I was an economics major, and then I thought I was going to be a pilot, but 3 weeks before the joining the Air Force, they do a last depth perception test, and I flunked.
Yes.
Said, Lieutenant, you're going to run the plane into the ground.
Okay.
They said it would only be one that I would run into the ground. It wouldn't be multiple. So I said, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so I got transitioned to nuclear missile launch operations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I was underground with my fingers on the buttons, getting ready for certain orders.
Very cool.
And we would go through these 3-ring binders that seemed like they were about 5 inches thick, and there were dozens of them. And every time something went wrong, if a light went off on the missile silo, they would say, it could be a bear on top of the silo, because you can't see it. All you see is like a little door leading down the stairs. That's it. Yeah. And the silo closure door is basically closed, and no one knows you're there.
Wow.
So
okay.
we'd go out, drive out in the middle of nowhere. We'd always have a pistol with us, because we had top secret information with us that could launch our missile. They could technically take me hostage and take me back to the missile site and say, we're going to launch this missile now.
Sure.
That was crazy.
How long did you do that?
I did that for it was 6 years total.
Okay.
But I did active for a period and then reserves for a period. So I didn't have to do it the whole time. They're actually phasing that technology out. It was fuel and oxidizer Titan II missile technology.
Okay.
That was in the southern regions, which I preferred, because then they have in the northern regions, North Dakota, South Dakota, they have the Minutemen systems up there, and that solid propellant. So
Gotcha.
They always say, why not, why not? And freezing's the reason. So
okay.
But anyhow, a lot of my friends went all over and did that. So
and then did you transition into wealth?
Yes,
from there?
Yes, years after that. So I went, I did my tour in the Air Force, and then got out and took a civilian job. Worked for the Meade Corporation, MEAD, in a regional role, dealing with some benefits too, some of what you did, and worrying about people's 401ks and looking at compensation types of things. Okay. And then also I had a sales role with them, so I had some variety of diverse experiences there as well. Okay. And then right from there went into full retirement planning from there.
Okay. Now, with a company, or did you just go out on your own?
Actually, I was with a company. Prior to that, when I got out of the service, I actually was in Southern California, and I went to University of Southern California. I got an MBA out there, and I majored in finance and marketing. So it was a good combination. We learned a lot about investing and a lot about the market. And in my economics background, it's a lot of study of micro and macroeconomics and all that type of thing. So, yeah.
It's interesting because I have a son who's a sophomore at UNG.
Oh, nice.
And he wants to major in business administration, which is a wide. You got to kind of narrow that down. So, so I've been talking to him, and one of the things that we were discussing was economics, and potentially going into private equity,
Nice.
debt management, those kind of, and we have a cousin that actually works for a private equity company in Alabama.
Nice.
And they were, discussing, that, the path to take to kind of, get into the private equity side of things. And,
Sure.
and that's it. But yeah, I like going back. My thing with my sons is, really kind of getting them talking to other people that they want to work with in their field, because I think it's important, from a networking standpoint, and
Sure.
then also to get some kind of real life.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is how it works and all that. And give them some options, and from that regard. So
yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think that's good thinking. So I hear you're engaged.
I am engaged. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
when did that happen?
So it happened to 3 years ago. So we're doing the long distance thing. So
Okay, where is she located?
she's in Orlando.
Wow.
So yeah.
Good place to go to.
So we're the agreement was, wait till the kids are, out of high school, and then we'll, her parents live up here, and so.
Okay, so
but,
she's up here a lot, or
yeah, we kind of split it.
good.
So yeah, so that's so we got a couple more years, probably 3 more years until her youngest is out of high school. So
Okay.
So yeah, so that's
Awesome.
yeah. So it's an
All
interesting.
right. Gotcha. Well, since you have we have a son in college already, what as far as savings did you accrue, and how did you plan to be able to pay for that?
Yeah, so we did the what is it, the 50? Yeah, we did
501c.
501c. Did that for both boys. So so that was that's been helpful. And I got to tell you, the staying in Georgia to go to college is such a huge benefit. And I'll tell you, I learned it real quick because originally Evan, his freshman year, went to Ole Miss.
Ouch.
Yeah. And
Financially wise.
Great school, but crazy. Like to see, like I knew there was a difference, obviously. I mean, no duh. But until you see that, and he's a good student, so he's getting the scholarship, which is the Zell. I can't remember. I guess, but he's
Zell and Hope. Scholarship.
So you're talking about, per semester in Georgia, you're talking about hundreds of dollars for him to take, 4 or 5 classes, where at Ole Miss, it's, thousands of dollars. And
Absolutely.
It's just a huge difference, staying in state,
Sure.
and just the savings. And between Georgia and UNG, I mean, we've got good colleges
Absolutely.
here in Georgia. So now did you have kids, right?
Yes, we're very blessed to have 5 children.
Okay, so that's an expensive.
It was huge. Yeah, I think 2 of my older children have gone through college. Did both undergrad and masters in the state. My son went to UGA straight through undergrad and then graduate CPA.
Okay.
He's a senior manager at PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Oh, good.
And so he's doing very well, and my daughter's doing great. She has a therapy practice where she counsels people.
Okay.
And she got a master's from Mercer.
Yeah.
And her undergrad was at Georgia State. But just like you said, the hope is huge.
It is.
Or Zell, whichever one you get. As long as you get one of them.
One of them, I know.
That's right.
It's a big benefit. Now, did they, and that's the other thing that, do you feel like where we are today that, getting an MBA or, not secondary, I guess that's, what is that, an advanced degree. Advanced degree. Do you feel like we're at that stage where, like, you really need one I
think it's very helpful. It just exposes you to a lot of different topics. like particularly went to Southern Cal, which is Southern California, and they in their program we'd go on international trips. Each class went to a different country to study how they did business at a specific RIM company or college, because a lot of their focus, a lot of the executives ended up at in Japan and all over, and we studied joint ventures. We got to travel. It was just a great experience. Yeah, I think an advanced degree is great. I think it really helps, to your point, like you said, it's not a general business degree, but some specificity in the direction you want to go, and taking classes related to that. Yeah, completely valuable.
Yeah, because I wish I had done, that was where, because I did accounting, and then, really, and of course, your son's a CPA. I knew that if I was going to do anything in accounting, you had to get the CPA.
Yes.
I mean, clearly. Truthfully. And I didn't at the time have the
oh, that test is a bear.
Yeah. And I'm horrible at tests anyway. So it's, I knew, I was like, okay, I'm 22 at the time, I was just like, okay, I wasn't disciplined. Shame on me, but I should, you definitely, I wish I had, done something like that, or at least gotten an advanced degree.
Sure.
Because I think it does,
it's
pay
never
dividends.
too late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
I went back because I did undergraduate, graduated, took the commission in the Air Force, and about 6 years later, then I went back to business school. So,
okay.
In fact, they used to, you couldn't go directly to business school. You had to work for 3 years and then go back, up in the Northeast, they do that.
Okay.
But as far as you've had some great career opportunities, some different companies. Did you have some 401ks along the way?
Yeah. So that's the standard 401ks that have just rolled over.
Sure.
Take the right now. Of course, I'm with Insperity, so
sure. So you got that one.
They're doing that. But now the unique thing with Insperity is that so they have the 401k obviously, but they don't do a matching. So that's, which is I'm not, most of the companies that I've been had to have some sort of matching. So I know that's one of the differences as far as coming over to Insperity, but yeah, that's kind of
gotcha.
We just contribute a flat amount every month. So
sure.
So
gotcha, and that's good. And we recommend anybody that's getting a match go up to the match,
right?
And that's the best way to go, because you should take free money,
right?
But if you're not getting a match, then I think you should keep your options open,
right? And
see what other vehicles are out there. Unfortunately, the market has declined so much. Gosh, after the last few days, probably 25% decline in people's 401ks. And a lot of people have 401ks from previous companies, and they're sitting there and they're not being managed.
Right.
And they're at 100% market risk.
Yeah.
So we're moving a lot of money because people are panicked. We've met with just various clients that have lost several $100,000. And we actually have a program that's very, very helpful. We can immediately restore that 20% loss.
Okay.
When you move the money over, it takes about close to 4 weeks. But once that money transfers, you immediately get a 20% bonus on that 401k money. So if it's $1 million, that's $200,000 that you get literally, within a 4 week period.
Right.
And then the program's set up where it has a zero cap, so you can never lose money in our funds. It's called a fixed index annuity.
Okay.
And index means that it goes on the basis of the stock market, but you can never lose money.
Okay.
So it still has inherent growth features because it's so diversified.
Right.
That historically it's been double-digit growth. No chance of any loss.
Okay.
And you get 20% right up front.
Right. Yeah.
That's just kind of unbeatable.
And it's called a fixed
index annuity.
Fixed index annuity. Okay.
And a couple of companies that are offering that and doing very well with it is Athene.
Okay.
They offer 20%. North American offers a 15% bonus, but their compounded returns are a little stronger overall. So we typically do an illustration depending on how much money a person has,
right? And
we determine what's the right amount and right mix to do that. But that would be it. And
interesting.
So you mentioned you have two boys, and
right.
you said one's at North Georgia,
right?
Sophomore, you said
exactly, and then a sophomore in high school at West.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
yeah, and then 3 stepkids. I mean, not officially step,
right,
but yeah.
But they will when you get
there. Exactly.
It sounds like it's coming right up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's keeps busy.
Sure. And hopefully those boys were saving a little money along the way, or working. And
yeah, that's definitely saving. And I've given them some kind of. From a stock market standpoint, giving them some kind of help in that regard, as far as just, how to investing in stocks and risk and being smart about it.
Yes.
And they've done some good things with Apple and Facebook. I mean, not now obviously, but
had some growth there. For a while.
Yeah. So that, and I thought that was important from the standpoint. Just starting at a young age, getting them aware of the stock market.
That was smart. Good dad work.
Yeah, try every once in a while, come through here.
Very good.
But
very good.
But yeah, so they're aware and cognizant of it, and we have discussions like they'll talk about stocks and they've learned some hard lessons too, which I think is good too. They've lost paper money, obviously, but nothing.
Sure,
they haven't cashed anything in yet, so it's not a true loss. But
but
yeah, so they're suffering, right now, obviously through the downside of all this.
Yes, of the stock market.
So that's one of the things that they were asking me about, and I know you don't probably know it, but the whole trading options, and that was. Obviously you hear, the media does a good job of touting options and investing in options and all that, although it's a dangerous, slippery slope. It can be, yeah. And I didn't know do you even touch on any of that with your clients, or do you just stay away from it completely?
Some, but we work mostly in safe money. Safe money meaning whatever we put you in, you never can lose a dime.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
It's always growing. You have, bonus opportunities when you move money, and it's just good, solid growing funds is what we typically recommend.
Which options are not.
Yeah, exactly. So we steer away from that. We obviously are educated in it, but we're educated to say don't do that. If you value your money. Now, who's to say that you might get a wild tip on something and make something overnight, but I just believe in a steady growth path of sure returns and not having to check the market or check whatever fund every day, because that can really hurt your retirement, hurt your life. I mean, you're emotionally up and down based on how it is, and you look at it in the morning. Wouldn't it be nice never to have to look at it and just know, hey, my money's growing.
It's growing.
It's growing double digits.
Yeah.
And I got a 20% return up front. And I'm never going to lose a dime.
Right. Yeah. So you don't have, which helps obviously you, because you don't have, but you're still dealing with clients that are like,
that have some in the market. Yeah. So what we do is we manage the whole portfolio, both sides of market products, equity products, as well as safe money products that grow. So someone likes to be a little riskier. We'll put a percentage in the risk area and say, hey, if you can stand to lose $200,000, we'll put $200,000 over here, and we'll put maybe depending on your age, because as you get older, you want to move more to safe money because you have less time to recover.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you just kind of take your you would take 100 and subtract your age and whatever that amount is. So if you're at 60. If you're 60 years old, you should have 60% in safe money, 40% in the market or more. Right. Varied investments.
Now, do you personally, are you managing both sides of that for clients, or do you have like a group? I
have a team. Yeah, we have a team of researchers that prepare analysis and do all the analytical work to hard recommendations, where we say, just straight math. If you do this, it's going to be this. Okay. If you don't do this, we don't know what it's going to be.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
So we have a team that manages portfolios and everything.
Okay.
And
they'll make recommendations as far as stocks if they if you have clients that want to get in that side of it.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So people come to us. They have a portfolio. They go, wow, I just lost $200,000 in the last 6 months. What can you do to help me? Well, we would take more of that money invested in safe money. We're going to get you 20% back, to make up for the loss that you got.
Right.
And we are going to make sure that you don't lose any more money.
Right.
And we're going to put you on a path of growth we're going to put your more play money that you're willing to risk more over here.
Yeah.
But we diversify it.
Yeah, of course.
I guess the useful tip of the day is diversification.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can be completely conservative and do all safe money and still become a multimillionaire.
Oh, so, yeah, absolutely.
So we kind of hit it. Any questions that you might have?
No, I mean, that's as we were talking here, those were questions that were coming to mind as far as, how you handle, in a time like this. And I'd be interested to know what you think or what you're telling your clients as far as, between now and the end of this year, and then what does 2023 look like?
Yes.
From a market perspective, what are you telling your clients?
So, I listen to a lot of experts and I get a lot of opinions,
right.
and so I study it all. So at the end of the day, in summary, market, unfortunately, in my opinion, is going to continue to decline. Mm-hmm. If you have a 401k, it may very well be a 201k.
Okay, right.
So my suggestion is get out of the market.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you can do that if if you have a 401k fund, for example, you can move that to our fund with no tax consequences because it's one qualified account to another qualified account. So there's no tax consequences. It's deferred taxes until minimum distribution age of 72, where you have to start taking a percentage out each year, and they're going to get some tax on that. But if you do that gradually and you manage that properly, not too painful.
Right.
And I think 2023 is unfortunately going to be similar to 2022. I mean, I know listeners don't want to hear that. Everyone wants to believe everything's going to turn around and do great. But, unfortunately, with the policies in place and the way things are going in the market and the decisions that are being made that's driving the inflation and the interest rate continues up, you need to be in safe money because the market is going to be very unstable the next year and a half, in my opinion,
right?
And what I've heard, and
right?
I read all day long. I listen to as many podcasts of experts out there, and that's kind of the general belief. In fact, many have said it may be kind of flat for the next several years.
Okay. Now, do you think that there's any quote unquote black swan events that are going to happen? That do you take those into account? Obviously nobody saw a pandemic coming along,
sure.
But do you think? Do you take that into any of your...
Absolutely, yeah. You can see certain things coming when there's instability in the world, there's wars, mm-hmm. there's, these crazy fights, and, oil's always a big subject. And,
right.
and if inflation drives oil, that drives everything up because it takes, typically oil and gas to get products and transport them and everything.
Sure.
So it kind of works all together.
Yeah.
That's what my economics tells me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there can be some major catastrophic events coming down the road here. And that's why I just say, don't play the market.
Right. Yeah.
Get your money out of the market, get it in safe, growing money,
right.
and maybe down the road if things stabilize and move some back, but don't move all of it. And if you're over 50, I would get completely out of the market and completely
cash or
right.
one of your
right. Our funds are
vehicles.
Good because of the growth. You could stick it in a money market, but you're going to get a few percentage points.
Right.
That's no
not
growth.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. And I would imagine that's from a stressful standpoint. From when you can tell your clients that, and you've got that option,
sure,
that
to move money back in the market. But if you look at the return of the last 50 years of the S&P, what do you think the percentage growth is?
I'm just going to say 9%.
That's a very good guess.
Is it really?
So a couple of years ago, it was 8%. And then we had some run up. So they're saying 10%. But keep in mind that 10% does not take into account inflation.
Right.
And it doesn't actually take into account the losses.
Right.
It only takes the gains. So when you net it out, you're probably at best, not making a lot of money in the market. So I say, why do that when you can have some guaranteed growth,
right?
Or at least historical growth that's been favorable.
Sure.
If you take the whole history of the market, it's not been so great.
Right,
sure, there's the apples and there's the superstar stocks here and there, but you don't always know to get in those. So So for my clients, it's safety, growth.
Yeah.
And certainty.
Yeah. And
peace of mind.
And peace, I was going to say.
In retirement.
Especially with, it's depending on your age. You got to have some peace of mind here and not living on the edge.
And the biggest concern retirees have is, am I going to run out of money? Am I going to outlive my money? And that's the number one concern.
Yeah.
And we can set it up so that will never happen.
That won't happen, right? Yeah. Yeah. So. Exactly. Regardless of how long they do live.
Right.
And if they have to go into assisted living or
sure.
Anything.
Yeah, and we have products for that are tax-free coming out, tax-free going in, tax-free coming out.
Okay.
And they have long-term care benefits associated with them.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And those are some cash value life insurance policies that are very valuable.
Gotcha. That's good. Yeah. Good to know.
Well, thanks for sharing all you did about your business, and thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. Amanda's just fantastic.
Yeah, she's really good.
Matching up good people that can get along. She's a superstar.
Yes, she is. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate this. It was a good time.
You bet. Hey, thanks, and please give us a call at Webb Wealth Advisors. Phone number 678-410-7902, or look us up on the web at webwealthadvisors.com. We want to save your portfolio and grow it big.
And Dan Smith and Insperity, 470-786-3186 is my phone number, and email is dan.smith@insperity.com. And enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.